Hello, BitcoinCash community. This is Sovereign Non with a proposal for BitcoinCash and how I think that it should scale. So, we know that Bitcoin Core has chosen to scale by going off-chain so that most transactions don't happen on-chain and are re-intermediated by custodians and lightning networks and whatnot. We know that Bitcoin SV has taken the track of increasing block sizes, really big blocks. I guess they've got gigabyte blocks or something like that. And we know that the eCash fork of BitcoinCash has taken the track of a development fund similar to Dash, except maybe less democratic. I don't know how they decide where the portion of the miner funds goes to the development, but that's another fork. I've kind of seen BitcoinCash as like the what's this? Is it Goldilocks with the three bears? Goldilocks. Anyways, I've seen BitcoinCash as being just right in the middle, doing the kind of ideal. But this is what my proposal for how BitcoinCash should scale is, instead of just thinking about bigger blocks, I think that we should increase the frequency of blocks. So my proposal is to increase the frequency by a factor of 10 and decrease the reward by a factor of 10 so that the reward stays the same overall. So currently, there is a block mined on average every 10 minutes. So a decrease by a factor of 10 would mean there would be a block mined every minute. And each of those blocks would have a tenth of the reward of the previous block. So I think in the current cycle there's a 6.5 Bitcoin reward per block, if I'm not mistaken. If that's correct, then this implementation would mean there would be a 0.65 Bitcoin reward per block. The main benefit of this is that you would have more potential volume for throughput because you would have 10 times the block in that. So you could get the same kind of volume through as increasing the block size by a factor of 10. But the main benefit is that you increase the speed. So for any of these transactions, which are a larger amount that want several blocks confirmed, sometimes I found myself waiting maybe an hour. Maybe they want 6 blocks confirmed before the transaction goes through, and that you're waiting an hour for a transaction, and that's kind of inconvenient. So if you can have a block every minute, then you would only wait 6 minutes for that same transaction. So it's going to benefit the network by increasing the speed. It will increase the time duration of each block will get even closer to the average, so there will be less variability in the timing of the blocks, which means that the difficulty will adjust faster relative to the market realities, which is only going to benefit BitcoinCash and benefit the users from faster transactions. The only negative I can possibly think of this, well, the thing is, I'm not. I did some mining at one point, but I'm not a miner, and I don't know if there are some flaws in this proposal from the miner's perspective. But the only thing I could think of that would be a negative is if somebody wanted to attack the chain, they could also attack the chain 10 times faster. But the reality is, even if someone went through all of the money and effort to attack the chain, like I guess happened to Bitcoin SV recently, they recovered. And just like Ethereum, like they failed, had an epic fail with their DAO and lost all this money, but they basically just recovered to an older one and the community agreed. And I mean, there's an Ethereum Classic for that reason, because the Ethereum Classic is the original Ethereum, where they didn't hijack the code for the benefit of the people who failed. But in a controlled crypto like that, of course, that's what you have. Bitcoin Cash has never had one of those. Supposedly, Bitcoin has had that, Bitcoin Core. And that's another thing, is I'm going to try to be better about always calling Bitcoin Core. And if I say just Bitcoin, only referring to Bitcoin Cash. So ideally using both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core, but knowing that the one true Bitcoin is obviously Bitcoin Cash. But if I have to be consistent in my word choice, so that every time I refer to Bitcoin Core, I say Bitcoin Core. Because at some point, when the real flippening happens, and the Bitcoin Cash retains its position as the market's preferred Bitcoin, then Bitcoin Core will have to be referred to as Bitcoin Core. And at that point, hopefully we have tracking sites better than CoinMarketCap. I know there are a few others out there, like CoinCap.io, and I think Bitcoin.com has one, but it's really slow, honestly. Hopefully Roger's listening to this and can speed up that site, because I would much rather go to the BitcoinCash or Bitcoin.com site that has the links of the different cryptos. And ideally, you could maybe have the default not include the stable coins, and maybe not include the DeFi products as the default. So like the default view is just the top cryptocurrencies, and then you could have like an option to select like, oh, I also want to see stable coins and I also want to see the DeFi products in there, but have the default view just like Bitcoin.com. The default is that the real Bitcoin is Bitcoin Cash, because that's what is peer-to-peer electronic cash. The other one is something else. But to have a coin viewer, a crypto coin viewer, which is only showing us the crypto coins and not the stable coins, and not the DeFi products. So I don't know. Hopefully people who are more integral in the Bitcoin Cash community will maybe communicate about this. I'm sure it's already been proposed and people have already talked about it, and it's not like this is a new idea. But it seems like, from my perspective, that would be the most sensible step. That would be best for the Bitcoin Cash community, is to increase the frequency of blocks by a factor of 10 and decrease the reward for the blocks by a factor of 10, which will increase the speed of the network by a factor of 10, and it will increase the difficulty adjustment by a factor of 10, the speed of that as well. And otherwise, everything else I think would pretty much stay the same, unless there's some unforeseen factors on the miner side that I'm not really understanding. But let me know what you guys think, and hopefully it is a good idea, and then these transactions that are waiting for the confirmations, they're going to happen 10 times faster, and that'd be really cool. And if it makes sense to do it 10 times faster, maybe the next year it would make sense to do it 10 times faster again. Who knows? I mean, faster does seem like it's... I mean, at some point there's a limit in that, because if you're mining all over the internet, like, you can't have, like, fractional second blocks, I don't think, because all of the different computers are going to have to be... That's where you would, I guess you would maybe get some... It would cause some centralization when you would get it really low transaction times. But if you're talking about a minute for a block, or even if you got down to like a second a block, you could probably even do that at some point. And then just not go to like fractionals. But say if like the worst you had to wait is like 7 seconds for a transaction of more than an insignificant amount of money, that's not really inconvenience. Like, oh, I'm sending a couple $100 for this. Like, you wait for that long at the credit card thing, oftentimes, like, put the pin in and do the other things and answer the questions, and oftentimes it's probably 20 seconds. So yeah, that's my proposal. The other proposal I had, if you're still listening at this point, is just about naming the units of the Satoshis. So there's 100 million Satoshis, and then too many digits to think about. So you need words. So 100 satoshis being a buck, 100,000 satoshis being a bit. So a bit would be 1,000 bucks, and then there would be 1,000 bits in a Bitcoin. 1,000 bits in a Bitcoin, 1,000 bucks in a bit, 100 satoshis in a buck. So at the current state of things, you would refer to things probably in maybe bits and bucks, but as the price would go up and there's more adoption, then maybe you would refer to things in bucks and satoshis, like dollars and cents for your everyday transactions. That doesn't require any kind of protocol upgrade or anything. It's just kind of a way of referring to the different decimals of satoshis, or numbers of satoshis, decimals of Bitcoin, which, if it's useful, and then it's also unique to BitcoinCash, then you hear someone talking about a price and they're using the word bits, like you automatically know they're not talking about Bitcoin Core, they're not talking about Bitcoin SV, they're talking about BitcoinCash, which has unique words to use. And then it would kind of use the buck, which traditionally has a dollar has been called a buck, even though it was never called a buck, but people just wanted to call it 1 unit of the 100 cents a buck. So 1 unit of 100 satoshis, it's a buck. That's all. If you think, hopefully this will make some sort of communication. That's my goal, and trying to help the BitcoinCash community, and so that it helps me and it helps all of us by giving us a better money and helping it to adapt. And see you guys later.